I'm Joe, and this is my things to do. Today on my things to do, I'm making oxtail beef stroganoff. It came about because Tiffany bought some beef cubes, and the first thing I thought about was stroganoff. And I love oxtail, so I thought, why not just combine the two? So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get my pot started. I'm going to put a few tablespoons of oil at the bottom of my pan. I've already started some of this. I've gone ahead and I've seasoned my meat with salt and pepper, and then floured both sides. And I'm just going to sear the meat in my pot. I'm going to sear it on all sides. So just get that in your pot, get it seared on all sides, and then we're going to set it aside and put the other ingredients inside the bowl. For all the ingredients and step-by-step written instructions, you can go to mythingstodo.com for the oxtail beef stroganoff. What you're wanting to do is to get a good sear on all sides of the meat. So you're going to do them in small batches until you have all the oxtail and all the beef cubes seared up, and then put it in a bowl and set it to the side. Alright, so once you have all of your meat seared, you're going to go ahead and, as I said, as you do them in bunches, you're going to put them in a bowl and set them off to the side. I'm just going to get that in real quick. There we go. I'm going to add a little bit more oil to my pot, just a little bit. And I've got a medium-sized onion that I diced up earlier. I'm going to add that to my pot now. Stir that around, get that all coated with the oil, cooked up. And if there's any little bits of the meat left from behind, that just adds, of course, to the flavor of our stroganoff. I'm going to let the onions cook down a little bit. I always like to season as I go, so I'm going to add a little bit of salt. And a little bit of pepper. There we go. Get that all stirred in. And I've got about 16 ounces of mushrooms that are all sliced up. I'm going to add those to my pot now too. Get those cooked in. I like to season each level of my food, so when I add something new in, I like to add a little bit more seasoning. So I just want to make sure that my food is well seasoned. So I'm adding a little bit more salt, a little bit more pepper. Getting my mushrooms and my onions cooked. I'm going to cook them down just a little bit. I don't have to cook them down too far because they're going to go back into the pot again, and of course they're going to cook even more. So we're going to stay in the pot. They're going to cook with my meat. I'm going to braise it for 3 hours. Now what I am going to do is I'm going to add just a little bit of my flour. This is the same flour that I used when I coated the meat. So it's got a little bit of salt and pepper already in there, because I seasoned my flour as well as my meat. Just going to stir that around and get that flour cooked in fairly well. So I want to do this for about a minute before I add anything else in. Okay, so after you've let your flour cook down for about a minute, you're going to want to go ahead and start adding some of the other things. I've got a tablespoon of Dijon mustard that I'm going to add right now. Get all that in there, stir that around. Oh yeah, I love how that tastes. And I've got a 1/3 cup of Worcestershire sauce. Get that stirred in real good. Ooh, I'm getting all foggy. Now I'm not going to add any more salt and pepper right this minute, simply because both the Dijon and the Worcestershire sauce, they've got such good flavoring, they don't need the salt. I'm going to add my meat back to the pot, along with all of those juices that are in there as well. Get that all in there. Stir all this around. Now here's the part that I can't tell you exactly how much I use. I can only give you an approximation. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to now get my beef broth into the pot. But I only want enough to just come up midway to the oxtails. I don't want to cover the oxtails completely, because I want the oxtails to braise for the next 3 hours, or both the oxtails and the beef cubes. But the oxtails, I definitely want them braising for the next 3 hours. It just makes them so soft and so good. All right, so that's about halfway up to my my oxtails, and that's where I want to stop. Just feeling this, I would guess this to be maybe about a cup. Yeah, I've got about a cup of the beef broth in there. Let me give you a closer look at it. There we go. As you see, you know, the broth only comes up to midway to the oxtails, and it's starting to boil. I'm going to cut my temperature down to a good simmer, and I'm going to let this meat braise for the next 3 hours. So I'm about at the halfway point right now. I'm just stirring my pot. I check on it. I can't help but touch on it, so I'm always checking it. You know, about every 30 minutes I like to stir it around, just make sure that it's all nice and juicy, and you know, flip over the larger pieces of meat also. And oh my God, if you could smell this, oh, I wish you could smell this right now. Oh, it just smells so good. I can't wait until it's finished. Alright, so like I said, we're at the halfway mark now. I guess I'll see you again in about an hour. The 2.5 hour mark, you want to go ahead and add your egg noodles and your sour cream. If the beef broth has reduced down a whole lot, you can go ahead and add more this time, but just make sure that you turn the heat up on your stove so that you can bring the level back up on the temperature back up in your stroganoff. I've got about 4 cups of egg noodles that I'm adding. I'm just going to stir that in. And I'm going to add about 1/3 of a cup of sour cream. Yeah, okay, maybe a little bit more. I don't know. I like it. And I'm going to stir that in. Make sure it's incorporated real well. And then I'm going to go ahead and let it cook for the remainder of the 30 minutes and serve it. And this is going to get even thicker as well, so that's going to be just fantastic. Okay, so it's been 3 hours and our stroganoff is ready, so let's get this plated. It smells fantastic and it looks so nice and thick. Oh, look at that. Nice and thick. Oh, I can get one of these large mushrooms right there. Okay. Let me see here. Oh, because this just looks awesome. Got a piece of beef, mushroom, and the noodle. Mmm. Mmm. It's seasoned perfectly. The meat is so soft. It's just wonderful, wonderful. This is great. I can't wait to finish this. Well, this was my thing to do today. Why don't you make it your thing to do also?